Okay, I'm gonna do an unboxing today, and the reviews will start rolling in from next week, which is a couple days from now, because I won't be doing vlogs except for weekends. But I just did a vlog about Japanese yūkaku, which is like prostitute houses, and I live on a street where they used to be one. It's a fascinating thing that I think a lot of people don't really know about, and to be able to show you that video, I can't do a review. A company would not be cool with that. So instead of that, I'm going to do an unboxing of a set that I've always wanted to try. This is a Radius. This is a HP TWF00. I'll put the specs underneath, but this is an interesting set. I like Radius as a brand, pretty much. Let me go ahead and pause this. Okay, we got the box. Let me get this going to steal focus. Put it over to the side. Open up the box. And they look pretty. They look very nice. Let's see how this works. Plastic underneath. Cable is removable. It's slightly angled, reminds me of the V-motor. It's got a it's got a fabric on the side. Interesting design. This has a beryllium driver, if I'm not mistaken, which is one of the reasons that I really want to try this. This is one of the higher end Radius when it was released. Can I get... Is it this thing stealing my focus? Or is it this shiny thing? For Christ's sakes. Alright. Here we go. And inside we've got case. How's the plastic going? Holy crap. Okay. Looks like a standard MMCX. And screen door, which is cool. I got something about the stamped out steel that I just don't like. And maybe a breather hole. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this and give it a listen. Okay, this is just first impressions, this video. Melissa, the Allman Brothers bass sounds prominent. So these are definitely bass leaning, but they've got a piezo, I think, electric or something, some kind of a driver taking care of the highs, and the highs are coming in. Sounds like Dwayne Allman might be a little bit back, but clarity on these sounds excellent. Lock and Load by Bone Crusher hits very hard. This is I think really genuinely a beryllium set. Baby Blue sounds good. Vocals sound fine on this track. They don't sound back, and sometimes they do. This is Badfinger. I'm gonna figure out what the driver config is actually, and then go ahead and figure out what would be a good comparison with these, and then do a review with this and maybe with another set. Fit is good. Right side has it going in towards the front like it should be, instead of going this way, which makes it so it can't go into your ear all the way. So they've got it correct. Sound is good. I like it. It's got nothing really odd. It's got beryllium bass is what it's got. So if you're looking for a set that's got clarity and good bass, this has definitely got those two things. Beyond that, I'm going to have to do a video. After this, again, I'm going to be talking about the mob in Japan slightly, and how they live on my street, and why that is, because they live in a place, the land has been in their possession for generations, because it's really can't be sold, because nobody will buy it. So they're kind of trapped, but the government takes care of them in a way. For example, Google Maps won't You can't see their properties from Google Maps. The Google truck came down the road and it just stops abruptly, like a road, and you go, and it's right there where the river is. You're done. So, Japanese vlog number 3 coming up in just a few seconds, and a full review if I like these of the Radius. I'm stoked to have these because these are, I've always wanted these. Beryllium. I think they got a special driver taking care of the treble. A little bit pricey, I think, but nice to have in the stable. I think the NHR 21s are something that I wreck a lot because they're good for EDM. So this company gets the bass right, and Japanese actually like this brand a lot. So there's that. And I'm out. J-Log, Japan video log number 3 coming up in just a second. This is what it looks like without the lights. This is a massive project. The house with the red roof over there is actually connected to this, so it's a huge property. School's on one side, living on the other. Now I'm gonna pretend like I'm taking a video of this because this is a heavy topic. If you look down that road, you can't see it, but about where that brown roof is on the left side, which would be, God, I can't fucking show it, right about there. There's a river, and I'm going to show people that are Patreons the link to Google Street View, because Google Street View will take you to that point and not beyond that, because that is where old Japanese yūkaku, which is like a brothel, except the women were imprisoned and they couldn't go out. If anybody knows Jake Adelstein, he was on a National Geographic special talking about the mafia and the Yakuza in Japan, and I actually had a blog at that time, and I used to sometimes comment and say the stuff that he was saying was full of crap and sensationalized, because I actually live with these people, and they're right down there, legitimate 3rd, 4th generation. And he would say, yeah, you're right, and you know, I'm making general statements. So if you were to say bad guy, if you know who Jake Adelstein is, he knows who I am. I'm the guy that actually lives with these people that you read about. So I'm pretending like I don't mind, except that I got kids that come to my school, so to do something now is really not the smartest thing to do. I had an event. There's a supermarket behind this school and behind this house, and I had an event before where I got drunk and somebody was sitting in one of those cars that they usually drive in with curtains and stuff, and I just walked up to the driver's side and started throwing my hands and punching the crap out of the dude. And then I got really ignorant and came around here and went up, and I picked up a stone because the car was still there. I didn't know that I had knocked him unconscious. And I took a big stone and then I heaved it at the car, which was a beautiful, beautiful car. That guy was a connected guy in Hiroshima. Now, if you're not familiar with Hiroshima, besides the nuclear war, the modern version of the Yakuza pretty much got born there because of the vacuum for goods like sugar and all that stuff. They were left on their own. Like Prohibition boosted the mob in America. There's a woman right there. She's not one of them, but she's like a neighborhood snitch. Like the mob was boosted by the Prohibition, the modern mob in Japan was boosted by the end of the war and the lack of goods. They became selling stuff that was needed and profiting, and then you start becoming the people that provide all the bad stuff that is always wanted, whether it's women or other stuff, and they grew. So the war kind of helped them into their modern form. If you were to use Google Street View, you could go right past where I'm standing here and go all the way down to where that is, and then it would stop abruptly, and you cannot go past that because the government protects this, and they actually have people in this country that go around and look for these old spots. There used to be a giant gate think about the King Kong movie, the old one with big giant wood doors. Right there on that road is where it was, right where the river is. And it had 4 sides, and it was known, and a person that used to work for the... You guys have seen my girlfriend kind of in the vids, semi, and she was in a class with a guy who... There's a car come by me, who gives fuck? And he was a Japanese self-defense force, kind of like the Coast Guard of Japan, and he used to come down to the end of this road and just stand there because he couldn't come down any further and look, because there were so many lights and stuff that were down there. It was like a carnival for that period of time, so the little kids could look at the lights but not go down there, but it was like a men's palace. People that live down there now are descendants of them, and they're very paranoid. And that story about assaulting the guy in the car, they actually started to send people to where I worked and threatened to burn down the schools. We're talking about children's schools. They were threatening to burn down the schools. She had, I think, 7 to 8, 9 schools at the time, and they were going to burn them all down. And I had also gotten in some fistfights in some bars that are behind me, like twice in one night and some other stuff, and they were just getting tired of me, but they never bothered me directly here. But they did threaten. That's how it works. They don't confront you, they confront your family. They go to your workplace, they try to get you to lose your job, and that's what they were doing to me, is because when you threaten to burn down 9 children's schools, then the person that owns it and employs you is going to say, fuck this, I'm not going to. And I basically left Japan for a year because, not for fear, but my visa status was changed because I had some fights, violence. I actually had a fist fight at the Fukuoka International Airport. I was a disaster of a person, man. I can't even explain to you guys. I'll show you. You can see my boxing bag and my weight bench over there. So I get my stress out, and also the training that I do pretty much right here. But when you hear stories about the underworld in Japan, a lot of it's not real. And I'll introduce you guys to it more closely, and I actually have friends that are in it, but they would be 3rd and 4th generation. They're not quite the same as like you would see in Black Rain, but they're pretty close. They got the tattoos, but they fix cars for a living, they do regular jobs. There's a very small percent that are rich. So what Jake Adelstein was saying sometimes was that these people were rich, and and some of them weren't. No, most of them aren't, and some of them are. And the stuff that they do is not quite the way that they portray it on the Discovery Channel, so I can explain it to you guys with more detail. But for my patrons, if you'd like, I can give you, I'll give you the Wikipedia info about exactly what was down there. And also the registry at the town office, they've actually physically moved the rumor of where it is to the left neighborhood on the other side, but it doesn't exist there. It's right here, because the guy that was... I can see the posts down there where the gate walls were right at the river, and everybody knows it. And if you Google Street View, you can zoom down the street and then suddenly abruptly just stop at one spot, and that is exactly where the river is, because it's against Japanese law for Google to take any images of the protected areas, to protect the people that are from there. So these are the real people, and they're my neighbors. It's kind of ironic that a aggressive, violent person like myself gets plopped down in their neighborhood that is filled with the same version of me, Japanese version, and it's caused conflict. And I'll get into stories about that at another time. So I'm done. Fascinating shit, bro. Because of my fucking personality, I got so many stories for you guys. Anyway, Jake Adelstein, he's kind of famous now, I think. You can ask him if he knows who I am. He knows who I am. And I'm out.